today with a little Grateful Dead. I wasn't much of a Grateful Dead fan, really. I saw them a bunch of times. They came through New York. They came through where I went to school in Syracuse. Interesting, you know. Everybody strung out, tripping around. What a following! Who could deny their live appeal? Marcus Conte reported. So let's talk about some subjects today. What do we got? We're going to talk about the Texas shooter. He's been ID'd. We'll talk a little bit about the Hong Kong coup. Coup. I'm calling it a coup, right? But who's cooing coup? Who's cooing who? I'd say it's the people cooing the country, taking their country back. Does that qualify as a coup? I don't know. Let's find out. And we'll talk about the hurricane, the big hurricane ready to slap down on the U.S. The big hurricane coming in. Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's try to get some better resolution. There it is. See the hurricane spinning away? It seems like it's stalled. So Hurricane Dorian, 165 mile an hour winds, Category 5, traveling at about very, very slow actually, less than 5 miles an hour. It seems to have stalled over the Bahamas, and now it's picking up. It's heading towards. It looks like it's going to bang right into the center of Florida. I guess right over here is a Category 4. That's pretty severe. Although it doesn't look like it's going to touch down on the ground, on the shore, I would say you're going to get some big-ass waves and some heavy swells. You're going to get some wind, but you're going to get mostly water swell. So water damage, here we come. Category 3, as it travels up, it's going to make it all the way up. Is it coming up to New York? Hey, say hello. This is like Delaware over here, I guess. And it'll probably pass out. So we'll get the Category 1 up here in New York. And obviously we won't get the wind, but we'll get we're going to get the waves. Surf will be up. That's how I know about hurricanes, because of the swell. It's the waves. When wind blows, right? When there's crazy wind and it blows down, it pushes the water down, causing this, right? It causes this effect, and that's how you get the waves. That's why you get 10-foot, 12-foot waves. 100 could be 100 miles away. It's just a matter of time when the wave is created, and then it ultimately must hit shore at some point. And that's where all the crazy surfers come out, start jumping into the shit. So let's look at some of the wind.
I need to understand. We are not near the hurricane. We are like 90 miles away. Imagine what's going on in Abbott.
There's some crazy guy down in, I guess he's in the Bahamas. They're getting whacked right now.
This is going to be one of the biggest ever. I cannot believe.
He's trying to talk and you can't even hear him. Great video for effect, right? What else? 185 mile an hour winds, bunch of people talking. Who cares? This guy's funny. See, that's pretty intense, right? The trees take a beating. The birds get screwed on this deal, man. All the nests go flying and shit. A lot of broken trees. 180 mile an hour could pick up a cheap house, though. You know what I'm saying? Take your house, root it right up. What's this? So again, North Bahamas, some video. Yeah, it's bending the trees. I saw that in Sandy here in New York. The trees just trees can get bend right to the ground and snap. It doesn't look like the water's coming up too high, so that's a good thing. Tide is important. If it hits at low tide, you gotta about an extra 7 feet, an extra 7 foot less of water. So Bahamas, they seem to be pretty prepared for it. All the boats seem to be out of the water. Trees taking a beating. Doesn't look like the water is breaking over the sea line. What else we got? Here's Florida. Here's a little video. I guess it's a live cam from Florida. Yeah, live cam from Florida. Nothing. Nothing right now. It's probably 100 miles offshore. The swell hasn't come in yet, but when it comes in, you'll get the wind. I guess you'll. It's hard to say. Will the waves come in first, or will the wind come in first? Doesn't know. Doesn't. It's hard to tell. Got a couple of brave surfers in the water. Surfers head for the water, not away from it. So that's the big. That's the big storm, the big East Coast storm. So let's talk about the killer. There's a killer on the road. Texas mass shooter threatened neighbor, shot animals from roof. Let's look at the first breaking story, right? Seth Attor, 36, reportedly identified as Texas shooter. Here he is. So this is the guy. Post this picture. Seth Attor, 36. Let's find out what we know about him. The assault-toting madman who killed 7 and wounded more than 20 in a roving spree was identified Sunday as Seth Attor, A-T-O-R, from Odessa, Texas. He had a gold Toyota pickup truck, was pulled over for a minor signal infraction along a stretch on I-20 near Midland, Texas on Saturday. Attor blasted approaching state troopers, seriously wounding one, authorities said. He then peeled off, firing indiscriminately with his AR-style rifle out of the truck as he floored it towards Odessa. Along the way, he killed a UPS worker and hijacked her mail truck, continuing the spree. He made his last stand in the parking lot of Odessa movie theater, where he was killed in a shootout with cops as horrified onlookers prayed for their lives. Authorities are yet to identify a concrete motive behind the slaughter. A concrete motive. Well, I'm going to give you the motive right here. The motive's right here today. Are you ready for it? I'll tell you why he did it. No manifesto. You don't need a manifesto. This is the reason why we're seeing people snap in this country, and it's called abject poverty. You think I'm kidding? Watch. Texas mass shooter threatened neighbor, shot animals from roof. A neighbor of Odessa mass shooter says she reported him to the police last month after he threatened her with a rifle for leaving trash near his property. But cops couldn't find his house because no GPS address. Oh, my God. They can't find his house. The guy's shooting out the window. Guy's threatening someone with a rifle, and the cops can't find them. That's bullshit. The woman told CNN that Seth Attor, 36, would often sit on top of his home and shoot animals at night, which he would then go and retrieve afterwards. A little redneck hunting, what do you say? Shoot squirrels. She said the cops tried to confront Attor following her report to police last month, but his property didn't show on GPS and was difficult to find. That is so ridiculous. The cops can't. There's no path to the guy's house. There's no way to get back there. You gotta. Oh, come on. Attor would often sit and sleep inside his Toyota Camry with the heat on. With the heat on when the weather would get too cold, said the woman. He also had no running water. So what is his mental illness? What is his social deprivation? Is it mental illness or is it poverty? Is it poverty? Poverty in America. That's what's causing it. Poverty, not having the means to make it, living in your car. But I thought unemployment is 3.4%, but this guy is not on the radar. He obviously doesn't have a job. And he's not even on the grid. You can't even find his goddamn house. But the unemployment number in America is 3.4, not 25% like it should be, like it actually is. Guys like this. Poverty is the cause. You want a manifesto? Poverty. Another neighbor told Channel 9 that she, too, was visited by Attor, who showed up at her door with his rifle. It was unclear what sparked the incident. The woman said Attor owned at least 2 guns. Cops shot and killed the Texas madman following his shooting rampage in Odessa on Saturday. He managed to kill 7 people, wounded 20. Poverty. Oh my gosh, that's why he did it. Right, that's why he did it. Here's the fatality. Father of 2 killed in front of wife and kids. It's fucking so sad, right? This guy, you don't believe it, right? Oh, no, it's all, these are actors, right? Bullshit. It's real. You don't have to look, you don't have to dive too far into any of this stuff, right? Because there's plenty of shootings going on all over the country that we're not even talking about. Some kook last night opened fire on police here in Brooklyn. They shot him dead. They dragged him off. I'm not going to talk about that because that's usual. That's just people. It's people. Their fuses are blowing, right? That's what it is, right? But this, I don't know why this one in Texas is a little more interesting than talking about something that happened right down my block over here. Not that close. It was actually in a neighborhood called Brownsville. It's far away. It's far enough away where I didn't hear the gunshots. So this guy got slaughtered in front of a dad of 2 was identified on Sunday as one of the Texas mass shooting victims by his sister, who said he was killed in front of his wife and children as the family sat at a traffic light. All right, so you want to blame the gun or you want to blame poverty? You want to blame extreme conditions in America right now, where in China they solved they went from 9 out of 10 people in poverty in 1978 to 1 in 100 in poverty right now. And that's under communism, right? Nobody's saying go to communism, just saying that our poverty level, the number of people living in poverty, abject poverty, where they don't have enough, like the cost of living doesn't satisfy their needs. The cost of living is higher than their means, is what I'm saying. They can't make it. People are not making it. 1 in 7 on food stamps. 80% of the country living paycheck to paycheck if they have a job. 60% of the country doesn't have $400 to their name. Medical benefits, you're either poor and you get it for free, Medicare or Medicaid, or you're so rich it doesn't even matter. You go to your own hospitals. So that's the shooter. Make what you will of it. I've diagnosed it as poverty. So let's talk about Hong Kong, the coup in Hong Kong. I know there's a lot of theories floating around. It's some sort of high psyop where there's a regime change going on, and it's you don't want to root for the people because it's a regime change and it's a conspiracy. Fuck you stupid asses. No, it's when 7 million people in a territory, when 2.5 million people run to the street and say we're under siege by communists trying to take our rights away and lock us up in Chinese prisons for speaking out. What the fuck don't you see about that? That's so obvious. So obvious, man. And I know people from Taiwan. I know the MO of Hong Kong. These are real people. They were under British rule for 100 years. Yeah. And British, look, you know that the reality is that China is very aggressive. China is not going to stop. They're just gonna barrel through Hong Kong because they can. The United States and the democracies, such democracies, we're complaining about Venezuela, the leader of Venezuela, giving his people, Medicaid and giving them food programs, and a communist nation in China. We're doing business out in the open with communist China, right? That doesn't bother anybody, though. When they say communist, and they say, oh, no, communist is Bernie Sanders is a communist, right? But meanwhile, all of our major corporations are doing business in China with communist China right now. Now, if that doesn't bother you, why should it bother you, right? Why should the politics of one country bother you? Well, it shouldn't. But when it starts to when it starts to take away other people's rights in Hong Kong, which are not communist, right, which were under British rule, they lost their lease, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean that suddenly you can't say that because Hong Kong was historically and legally and rightfully China, that means all of the people in that country suddenly don't have any rights. And, technically you would be, if you were if you wanted to take it like it's a business, like people's lives are a business, like a slave trade, yeah, then Hong Kong people are the rightful possession of China. But where is the free world? Where is the voice of the United States speaking out against communism running over free people? There is none. There's a great shot, by the way, of We Are Change got this shot. I love it. Like We Are Change. They're on the ground there. So hold on one second. So the mainstream media, even in China, South China Morning Post is spinning it. Mass protesters wreak havoc on Hong Kong airport and trash railroad stations, forcing desperate travelers to head to city on foot. No, fuck you. It's the people fighting back. What's wrong with that, man? That's the people rising up. They're not radicals. They're the people of the country, right? And here's the video from the other day. I'll just show you the highlights of it. I mean, this is policing? We call this policing. How is this policing? They're not making any arrests. They're beating the shit out of people. There's a child on the ground. Beating them up, spraying them with pepper spray. And what is the crime? What is the crime? Nothing. For what? Occupying a subway? And then they're gone. And that's your punishment. There's no arrest. There's no crime. It's torture. Right? That's what's going on over there. Right? So here's another episode. Just a random. There's some good shot pictures. Stand by, because I want to show you some really good pictures, really good images coming out of Hong Kong right now. Not on mainstream media. This is Chinese people putting this shit out. People in Hong Kong on the ground. So here they go, arresting people again. What was the crime? What did he do? Maybe he jumped. I mean, it's just we don't know the essence of it. It's just one person being arrested. But all of those yellow vests are press, so it indicates that some sort of event. The crime here is protesting. The crime here is speaking out. And there he goes. What is his crime? We don't know. We'll never know. So, what else is going on? So here's some kids protesting. Students of Chinese University of Hong Kong stage rally to demand political reform. It's real. There's millions of people rising up. Millions of people speaking out, coming together. Hong Kong people not going to lay down. They're not going to quit. So that's why it could get bloody. It's not going to be Tiananmen Square where a couple of lone wolves try to stop a tank. This is 2, 3, 5 million people rising up against, once they defeat the police, then what? Then the Chinese army? That's what it might become, So let's take a look at some of, that's Grateful Dead. So let's take a look at some of this. This kid's putting out some really, really good stuff, man. Riveting photographs. So here, I'll just do a little. I mean, really, this is stills from that. His name is K0-ng. Pakin Lung, Leung. Thank you, Pakin. Putting out some great imagery. And you see people. Those are the people. People with makeshift things to block whatever, umbrellas. Like a fucking umbrella war. Oh, look, it's a pink umbrella. Check that shit out. Somebody's got a pink umbrella. They have those too. All right. So these are just the people. These are people fighting back. The police got the guns and just look at the hardware that the police are wearing. They got the gas masks. It's like a scene out of the Matrix. It's like a scene out of Star Trek. Yeah. Fires. Getting hit with fire bombs. Oh, shit happens. Protesters fighting back, wearing the same helmets as the police. Maybe they shop in the same store. Umbrellas everywhere. 7-Eleven umbrella. Ah, umbrella. Tear gas, man. This shit is no joke, man. This shit is dope, man. You breathe that shit in, man. You fucking eyeballs bleed. Fucking eyeballs. Same as France. Remember in France they were chucking smoke bombs? This guy's got it right. He's got his shin guards on. His fucking you should wear like I should send some football equipment. Wear like shoulder pads and fucking football helmets. That's a great image right there, man. I think that guy wins the thread right there with his whole fucking very fashionable. He's totally covered. He's got his whack fucking glasses on, covered with plastic and shit. Umbrella, his weapon of choice. Cops getting firebombed. Bada bing, bada bong, bada la 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 long. This is an interesting photograph. What they're doing is they're squirting the crowd with blue water. The water cannons are blue, but why blue? So my understanding is that they're doing it so that the people that they squirt are then dyed blue. They're painted blue so that they can go and make an arrest. Essentially is what they're doing. They're trying to identify by painting them blue with blue water. Free Hong Kong. Fuck Po Po. Fuck Po Po. China. It's a great people falling to communism. They're fighting back. That's what's going on. Don't kid yourself. See what else. Hong Kong police use of sex violence. I don't know about that, man. But I believe you. Apple. I have Apple iPhone. It's just riveting, Riveting imagery. Stand with her. Me too. I'll translate. Guys, all beat up. So, yeah, the people are trashing the joint. So what? Get over it. Get over it, man. The police got their bats and their weapons. They should start dropping flower pots from the roofs. Free Hong Kong. Great imagery, man. This is like powerful shit. Powerful stuff. It's like the army. It's like, what would you do if it happened here? I mean, that's what you have to ask yourself. Is it coming to us? I think it is. I think that it would be far more violent if people protested to this extent in the United States. They'd call all, New York, for example, has, 40,000 police officers. They'd come in cracking heads, shooting people, locking people up, busing them to wherever, corralling them like animals. Damn right it's coming to a theater near you. What else has this guy got? He's got some other stuff, man. Some other shit. Some other stuff. I think he's got another roll of film right here. Another roll. Let's look at his timeline. Yeah. So, more shots. The police aren't playing games, but neither are the people. I think that's the message. See up. Wow, that's like right out of the movie 300, right? Spartans, what is your occupation? The Spartans. They are Spartans. That's a riveting image right there. It's like that really does look like Star Trek. The Borg, right? Look like the Borg. The Borg are coming for you. So, quite a bit of imagery coming out of Hong Kong. They're definitely fighting back. They're not taking it. They're not taking it sitting down. You know what I'm saying? So Marcus Conte reporting. We're waiting on the big hurricane to approach Florida and break out the surfboards here in New York. And we found out who the shooter is, and we found out his problem, what drove him, what his manifesto was, and it turns out that he was just a poor motherfucker, probably in need of or on some sort of psychotropic medication prescribed by a doctor until it was like a ticking time bomb, broke, and pow, it fucking started shooting people, right? Again, it's not, somebody left a great analogy on the thread. I don't know who it was, but thank you for it. It's like, it's not the gun, right? It's not the gun. The gun is not the problem. The gun is there, and if the gun wasn't there, then they would resort to something else. And the analogy somebody put is like, it's a crazy, angry housewife in the kitchen. Right? Are you going to, and in that kitchen there happen to be knives, and she takes a knife out and kills somebody. Are you going to outlaw, crazy housewives and knives? No, it's not. That's not the problem. The problem isn't the instrument that the kook reaches for. The problem is the kook itself, right? Sitting online, absorbing crackpot theories by a bunch of crazy fucks, spinning all kinds of fake news on the mainstream media. Depression, telling us that everything is fine in America. Everything's going well. You're not living well, it's your fault, you fucking moron. You're a loser, man. You live in your car. Why don't you go shoot somebody and get famous? You live in your car, you have no heat. You're shooting fucking roadkill off your roof. You fucking redneck. Look at you. You're a piece of shit. All right, that's the imagery. Why not watch mainstream media and see how rich you can be? That's the problem, man. It's people getting bombarded with bad messaging, and abject poverty, depression, alcoholism, drug addiction. Right? That's the real problem. That's now becoming my assessment of the whole thing. You can call it a psyop and a false flag, call it whatever the fuck you want, right? The shooting. But the fact is that it's happening and no one seems to have a solution to it, right? It's getting worse and no one seems to have a solution to it. And half the country is gaslighted to believe that somehow if we fix the economic problems in this country, that somehow that is a form of some horrible political ideology of the past that's going to cause us to eat our dogs and children. Communism, socialism, right? It's a bad way, man. Bad gaslighting in this country. People are just sitting on their hands right now. Marcus Conte reporting.